I had large-scale paintings of water lilies as a reflective landscape in mind, without horizon. The illusion of an infinite whole, presented in a room in such a way that the viewer is surrounded by water, submersed in the pond and the water lilies, and forget everything around them. My garden is disappearing. Contrasts are undefined. Shapes blur into each other. I use almost only red and brown tones. I can't see other colors. I will never accomplish something beautiful again. I have gone through 2 eye operations, and today I will finally receive a fitting pair of glasses.
Claude Monet is born in 1840 in Paris. The boy who everyone calls Oscar grows up in modest conditions. The financial crisis is in full swing. His father's colonial goods store is doing poorly. As a result, the family moves to Le Havre in 1845. Oscar is 5 years old. By the age of 15, as a high school student, Monet already attracts attention with caricatures of teachers and public figures. The painter, Eugène Boudin, notices Monet's talent and encourages him to paint landscapes.
I had just turned 17 then, but I knew that I wanted to be a painter and paint just as the birds.
Once more. For the year 1866, he plans a figure painting in a large format. On a 4x6 metre canvas, a fashionable Parisian picnic party of 12 gathers in the birch forest. His painter friend Basile and his 19-year-old lover Camille stand and lie in the forest as models.
On the grass like mad, but all the rain and an injury to my leg put a spoke in my wheel. I just couldn't finish it in time. Later, I left the finished painting as collateral to my landlord. When I redeemed it years later, the right part was moldy.
Paints his future wife Camille, life-size, in only 4 days. The woman in the green dress would become a great success for Monet at the Paris Salon in 1866. Look at the dress! How lively!
He manages to capture the fleeting nature of the moment.
The vitality, as if she were just turning to leave. Soon, Monet no longer focuses on painting people. His interest turns to sunlight, the glow of the flowers, and shadows in all colours, reflections on the water. And with his studio boat, he goes right into the motif of water.
happy nature. But it was impossible. The landscape changes with every passing moment. It only comes alive through its environment, through the ever-changing air and light. One can't replicate the sun, but, as I'm discovering, you can shed it through something else, through color.
Monet finds his central themes: light and shadow, wind and water. Morning mood in the port of Le Havre. Outlines of ships, chimneys in the fog, thin paint, delicate strokes. The rising sun reflects orange in the water, diverse broken shades of grey.
Others painted a bridge, a house, a boat, and that's it. I wanted to paint the beauty of the air surrounding the bridge, the house, the boat. I'm not interested in the object itself, but what happens between the object and me.
With the painting Impression Sunrise, Monet created a work that divided the critics. This self-proclaimed artist takes canvas and a brush, throws paint on it randomly, and signs the whole thing.
This is merely a sketch. Even a wallpaper in its original state is more elaborate.
The work gives the Impressionist style its name. A well-meaning critic sums up the new style of painting. The Impressionists do not reproduce a landscape, but the impression it evokes.
The moment in its fleetingness, the immediacy that contains a hidden truth. Reproducing that was fascinating to me, but has also brought me to despair again and again. For in capturing the fleeting lies an irreconcilable contradiction.
Academic preferences at this time are nationalistic historical paintings, ancient heroes, and chivalric romances. But Monet consistently puts his will for actuality into practice. He pays enthusiastic homage to the modernized cityscape of Paris. fascination of modern technology, industrial development, and speed in the railway, and paints bridges, train stations, and steam locomotives.
Placed my easel in the middle of the hustle and bustle at the Salazar station in Paris and painted for days on the platform while the passengers around me streamed to the trains. I had trains stopped for me, platforms blocked, and locomotives stuffed with coal so that they would blow out as much steam as I liked.
Great sponsor and collector of Impressionist art, goes bankrupt in 1876, a catastrophe for the Impressionists. The Monet paintings, too, are sold at the foreclosure at bargain prices. The Ochedets and their 6 children move in with the Monets. The new extended family lacks everything: food, eating material, clothing. Monet, now 40 years old, has to start over.
I didn't have a single sou, and no credit either, neither at the bakery nor at the butcher. I couldn't even buy canvas and paints anymore. I cursed myself and my paintings.
Kemi dies of abdominal cancer, weakened by a failed abortion attempt in September of 1879. She was only 32. Monet loses the mother of his 2 children, his woman in the green dress, his model, his beloved, who in his pictures strolls through meadows and poppy fields with a parasol and a fluttering summer dress.
At dawn, I found myself at the head of a dead woman's bed. My eyes clung rigidly to the tragic temple. I observed the colors of death that settled on her face in progressive gradations: blue, yellow, grey hues, violet. Suddenly my reflexes took me captive against my will, and the ordinary way of life set in.
Monet paints his wife on her deathbed. The dead woman's face sinks dimly into the icy cold of the pillow. Warm sunlight falls on the bed from one side, as if the painter wanted to warm Kemi's rigid face with the first rays of sunshine. The warm light of the morning stands in stark contrast with the coldness of death. 1882 on the Norman coast.
I was enthralled by this area. The motif is never what it is, but what the light makes of it.
In the search for different light, Monet travels to different countries throughout his life. He is inspired by the pines and palm trees of the Riviera and has great success with these pictures. Monet's last trip brings him to Venice. As he had done earlier with his studio boat on the Seine, here too he goes right into the middle of his subject and paints from a gondola in St. Mark's Basin just above the surface of the water. The paintings are more visions than visual experiences. The Impressionist has turned into a symbolist. Monet celebrates the mystical combination of fog and architecture, of material and atmosphere, of stone and light.
Everyone pretends as if they understand my art, but one doesn't have to understand it, only love it.
From 1883, Monet rents the house in Giverny. He buys it in 1890. The two-story house offers enough space for his large family. The barn is turned into a studio. Through the efforts of the entire family, the northern orchard is turned into a lush flower garden. Paths separate the flower beds, which are planted according to strict colour schemes. Monet later bought the adjacent land and in 1893 laid out a water garden based on Far Eastern examples with many exotic plants. Here is where the famous Japanese bridge stands. The garden, like a painting, colourful splendour wherever you look.
I think my garden is my most beautiful masterpiece.
Garden that will go down in history. The pond and the water lilies will become the defining motif of the last 20 years of Monet's life. Monet becomes one with his garden. The garden becomes part of his body, his soul, his eye. In 1899, he has a second studio built and begins painting the water lily pictures. Later, a third studio is built, 12 by 24 meters large and with huge skylights. Monet can work here in daylight.
I think from the beginning, I owed it to the flowers that I became a painter.
Yet, Monet is not a flower painter. The flowers are mere carriers of light and a feast of colour for the eyes. Monet immerses himself in the work on the water lily paintings, gradually getting closer to the motif, dives in. He wants to create a monumental piece. It is a race against time. Monet suffers from cataracts in both eyes. Slowly but surely, he will lose his eyesight. Mr. Monet? Mr. Monet? You can see with your new pair of glasses.
Yes. I saw what I painted half blind.
Are you going to finish the water lilies?
The paintings are terrible. I have destroyed them.
But now that you can see, will you continue the work? Monsieur Monet? Claude Monet manages to complete the water lilies before his death. The 91-meter long and 2-meter high painting is the pinnacle of his work, for which he would only become famous many years later.